The 2026 Chevy Equinox is more than an SUV. It's your Sunday tailgate and your parking lot snack bar. Your lucky jersey, your chairs, and your big cooler fit perfectly in your even bigger cargo space. And when it's go time, your 11.3-inch diagonal touchscreen's got the playbook, the playlist, and the tech to stay a step ahead. It's more than an SUV. It's your Equinox. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
Study and play come together on a Windows 11 PC. And for a limited time, college students get the best of both worlds. Get the Unreal College Deal. Everything you need to study and play with select Windows 11 PCs. Eligible students get a year of Microsoft 365 Premium and a year of Xbox Game Pass Ultimate with a custom color Xbox wireless controller. Learn more at windows.com/student offer. While supplies last. Ends June 30th. Terms at aka.ms/collegepc.
LinkedIn Hiring Pro can't predict the future, but it can help you feel confident about future hires. Because Hiring Pro combines real-time insights and candidate data from the LinkedIn network with the criteria you've set for your role to deliver you a list of top-fit candidates. Businesses who use LinkedIn are 24% less likely to reopen a role in the next 12 months. Hire right the first time with LinkedIn Hiring Pro. Post a free job today at linkedin.com/quality.
Who needs the World Cup when you have a URC final? Yeah, I don't believe it either. Let's start the show. Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Interpro Show, your home for all things Irish rugby. And joining me tonight, we have Adam, Ben and David all ready to fight, to bicker, to show their true colours. And I'm not talking about England against Croatia that follows this recording. Gents, we're going to get straight into it because we don't have a whole lot of time. Andy Farrell named his Ireland squad for the upcoming Nations Championship. The headline news, no Jack Crowley, no Andrew Porter, no James Lowe. Had to go in a certain order there based on our previous conversation. No Ian Henderson, for example, no Bryn Ward, Jude Postlethwaite, who else? Brian Gleeson, I suppose, David McCann, players like that. Jack Murphy as well. Yeah, he was in my head. I just couldn't think of his name, to be honest. But we're going to start with the winger, the long-haired winger.
Put some respect.
We haven't really got into it. David, no James Lowe. That's his Ireland career finished for now. Anyway, you never know. There's always a chance. Your thoughts on how this is all dragged out?
Well, I've expressed them to you off air. I think it's a mistake. I think he's an excellent player. I think we're gonna rue the fact that we let him slip through the grasp. I think enough effort has been put in by Leinster, by Ireland. He's been here almost a decade now at this stage. And while like the last season up until maybe the Six Nations this year wasn't vintage, even his performances in the Lions were good, although he was then dropped for the third game. He has consistently been a difference maker for Leinster and Ireland. He's not the fastest player in the world, but he is able to create space where none exists. We saw in that it was the Stormers game or the Lions game. His fend is still enormously powerful. And he seems like, I know it doesn't go that far, but he's a good person to have around the squad. He's enormously popular with both fans and players, and for the sake of whatever it was that was saved by not renewing his contract, I feel like it's a mistake. But it is a mistake that has now been well and truly completed. The announcement from him, the RFU and Leinster, and now the fact that he's not selected in the squad kind of, I think, puts to bed the idea that he'd be leaving and still be available for selection. So on a personal level, I hope he goes out on a massive high on Friday night. But as far as Ireland goes, I think that's it.
Yeah, it is a pity, and I did write about this, and I did specify very early in the piece, James Lowe leaving is bad for Irish rugby. That's first and foremost, and you can take it whatever way you want from there. You can agree with me, you can disagree with me. A lot more people do that these days. Take it whatever way you want, but for me, it is unfortunate, and it's a pity that his last action as an Irish rugby player was, pulling up as he kicks the ball away. It has happened to loads before. It'll happen to loads after. It's still a pity, no matter who it is. But just on that squad, Ben, it is a squad that is hampered by injury. Not just players absent, Porter and Jack Crowley chief amongst them, but the players who are 50-50, let's say. Your Robbie Henshaws, Gary Ringles doesn't start this week. I don't know how 100% fit he is, for example. Tyke Byrne isn't 100%, and so on and so forth. There's more than just them. It does kind of, it just makes you a little bit nervous because if you're going down, if you're going to pick all these guys, you'd want them to at least be 100% fit for it to be worthwhile.
Yeah, and like I've said previously on this podcast, and I've said it off air as well. This whole championship thing doesn't overly gel well with me if you're making the summer tours now, quote unquote, matter. On top of that, we're bringing in players who, it's realistic, haven't had all that much time off since the season started, and getting them to go again. Even got your Ty Burns, your James Ryans, anyone who's in that Lions tour. My brain now escapes me completely. On top of that, we don't have Mac Hansen, we don't have Jack Crowley, no Kevin Nash, no Ryan Baird, no Jack Boyle, no Shane Bolton, no Tom Farrell, no Paddy McCarthy, and most crushingly, no Edwin Dogbo. It's We had a chance to do something with this tour where we could have brought in guys and made depth chart a little bit stronger than Six Nations. We'll probably do it against Japan, fine. But now we're taking lads down south who've played an awful lot of rugby for, in my mind, not a lot of gain from it. What we don't want is players who are 50-50 going down. You look at Ringrose, look at Henshaw, get injured again, and then we're rolling it back in for Europe in November, having not really any time off whatsoever and not getting to recover at all injuries they have. Like, Ty Byrne hasn't looked fit since March, April, realistically.
No.
He's going to play again in 2 weeks. He's going to probably play 2 of the 3 tests. And then he's straight back up for preseason again. I've been critical of Andy Farrell selecting, and I've got pelters for it previously, but this one really I don't understand. This tour means nothing.
Yeah, and
I know
I
the
think
trophy, but
we got a
madness.
comment. We got a comment last week that was, I'm old enough to remember when Ireland conceded 60 points in New Zealand. First things first, so am I. Like, and I'm the
We are
second
4
youngest.
differing ages on this podcast. We can all remember that.
Yeah, I mean, I hate that kind of stuff first and foremost. But secondly, like if Ireland did ship 50 to New Zealand, but a rotated team, say, drew with Australia and beat Japan, that's a way bigger success than probably
Yep.
2 wins with the full strength team. Because
That
right now,
Ireland team came second last in Six Nations the year after that, hammering in New Zealand.
that's true.
That's not going to happen again. It shouldn't happen in February.
No, because we can't trust Scotland to tie their shoes in Dublin when they're taking on Ireland. Like,
To win Eden Park would be lovely. It would be a huge achievement for any team. But if we get battered there and we try 2 rotated squads against Japan and Australia and perform well, and we know going into February, even into November, these are our depth. This is how it looks, and our depth isn't just a starting 23 and maybes. Then we're in a much better place than we are now.
like the Six Nations with Tom O'Toole and Robert Balakoon and Stuart McCluskey. Stuart McCluskey is another that I probably wouldn't have brought. Like, he's had a couple of weeks off. Let him finish it out. That man has a lot of minutes under his belt, and this is kind of part of the issue. Caelan Doris, Jack Conan, Joe McCarthy, Tyke Furlong, Stuart McCluskey, Tyke Byrne, Josh van der Fleer, a little bit different because he plays smaller. Those lads have a lot of minutes. A lot of minutes. And in attritional positions, in attritional workloads. And you just wonder, because it kind of happened in 2019 a small bit as well, where some of those lads just didn't have that extra 1 or 2% needed for the Joe Schmidt game plan. So you just always have that skepticism. For me, it's about, for me, it's about Porter and Crowley. I've said it before. I'm not a huge fan of Andrew Porter scrimmaging. Take a shot if you've heard that before. But I still think he's probably, if not the most important player that Irish team, second or third most important. Like, he is such an unbelievable, power force in that team. And I think Jack Crowley is, and I've said it before, I do think he's levels above as Ireland's best 10. I think he will be missed for what he can bring. And on that, Adam, number 10, it's going to be the 3, to be pedantic, the 2 Leinster guys and a Connacht lad as of Saturday, with Kieran Foley along with Harry and Sam. No Jack Murphy, no Jack Crowley. Your thoughts on those 3? Kind of expected, but I know you were pining for the Bray man. He's Bray, isn't he? I think he's Bray. I think so.
Yeah.
That means he could sell out Crow Park, didn't? Shh. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, I think it was I don't know. I feel it's really, really quite annoying as another provincial fan to see the likes of three very well, one's not a 10. And we're gonna find that in Connacht, I feel. I think I think he's more of a 15/12. I think he's played to that standard. I think he's a very good 12/15. It's going to be very interesting to see how he goes up against Josh Owoni, who had a very good end of season with Connacht. It makes it very interesting in the long run. With Harry and Sam, it's one of those where I've mentioned this throughout the season that I think Gibson Park, when he's played, has looked so good that their 10 options have been sort of lost in how sort of lost they've looked in parts. I'm saying it for both. I'm not. I think that they are, the standard tens in Ireland, but I do feel like if we're putting all of our eggs in one basket, not really so much now that Frawley's off to Connacht, but it's one of those that I think somebody like Jack Murphy who plays 10 for their province played fairly well, in my opinion, this season. Racked up a good amount of games, racked up a good amount of minutes. He's 21. I'd rather him in and around the squad to gain experience. And especially that Japan game. I think that Japan game we need a lot more, versatility. We need to actually try a lot more, having it played in Australia, having some younger guys go out there and play against a really good Japanese side, it's probably going to be worth its weight in gold considering we're playing the World Cup there in a year's time anyway. So it's kind of frustrating. It was one of those that as I said, I put in the group chat multiple times that, I wish Jack Murphy was here. Where is Jack Murphy? Why is Jack Murphy not here? To the point where
Who is Jack Murphy?
who is Jack Murphy? Do you know his dad, Richie, used to play for Gary? Anyway, but
Every time Jack Murphy's not in the pitch, the player should be asking, "Where's Jack?"
yeah. And then I went, "Where is Jake Flannery?" And then I was like, maybe I'm getting too out of my hand here. Anyway, but it's one of those that like I do feel it's a bit of an uninspired choice. I think we could have went really bold with it, but at the end of the day, it's Ireland playing, and I'm going to support whoever's going to be playing 10.
Yeah, I know. Like, there's always that. That's one thing that I do not like is that people kind of insinuate, oh, if you don't like the players in the team, then you obviously don't like the team, and then that's wrong. It's like you can have favorites within a team. Do you know what I mean? You
Yeah.
could literally have a team of guys from the same road as you, and you'd still have favorites. It's human nature. Insert Michael Jackson song there. Before we move on, because we've got a URC final to preview, I'm not even proud of that one to be honest. Make sure to subscribe to get all the latest content here at the Love Again I channel with the Nations Championship coming up. As you can tell, I am so excited, and this is not sarcasm. We will be covering it in full, and we will also be kicking off our new provincial podcast next season, and we are in the lookout for Connacht presenters. I believe we've moved closer to confirming our Leinster panel, which I forgot to say to Dave before we hit record. My apologies to you on air. But moving on to the URC final,
On
where, as
that,
we said,
could I
go
make
on.
an appeal? If there's anyone who's a member of the national media listening, could you please contract Kalon to cover the Nations Championship because that will force him to show enthusiasm for it, and he will hate that.
If Kalon was
Thank you.
if Kalon by the powers that be does get into that nations, like he needs to show as much enthusiasm as he showed for the what game was it that you covered last night in the World Cup?
He
See,
needs
this
to
this is going to be my
he needs to
point,
send me a
right?
fucking thank you card is what he needs to do.
Does that mean
That's
Ireland
true.
don't win a game if Kalon covers it though? Because Leinster don't win when he covers them, so I might be almost
You're
on
not
board for
supposed to
that.
say that because I might be on Leinster duty this week. I don't want people to blame me if they
Yeah,
lose.
but how can you tell me that you're an expert in a racket and Norway football?
Erling Haaland exists. I know about him. We're fine.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Martin Odegaard got his shoulder, and I think I made my comment of he won't make it to Crow Park at this rate. So, like, fuck it, why not? Um, David, I appreciate the sentiment. I do. But I think my weekends on those weekends are actually booked up with other different work, like the World Cup. But to move on to Leinster Bulls in Crow Park this Friday night, teams are named. They've gone and they've done their captain's run. And David, would start with yourself as the man with a team in the final. Are you hopeful? Are you nervous? Are you confident? Whereabouts are you? Approximately 48 hours or 47 hours out from the final.
Yeah, no, I'm optimistic. I think the team came out and look, I think there was a lot of people who would have liked to see Kieran Frawley in there after he wasn't in there for the quarterfinal and the semi. I think that ship had kind of well and truly sailed. I also don't know that he would have been like he's a great player, but I don't know that he would have been necessarily a difference maker so much as he would have been a good cog in an overall decent performance. The team is about as good as we're able to pick. There's obvious concerns around how far we've gone now down in the loose head prop. Jerry Kerr, this is for him on a personal level. This is an unbelievable cap to an incredible season. To come from being, an AIL, semi-pro amateur player to getting the number of caps he has at Leinster this season to then converting that into a 2-year contract with Connacht. It's unreal. Like it's the kind of stuff, honestly, the IAL, excuse me, and the province should be trumpeting from the rooftops. Keep going, keep playing, do well, and this is possible. He should be that test case. But it is still a thing where you'd like if I could have Andrew Porter in there, if I could have Paddy McCarthy in there, that'd make me a little bit more comfortable, particularly with what the Bulls bring in their front row. But aside from that, it is a remarkably strong Leinster team. There's one or two people missing who you might want in. The center I actually find a very interesting position because outside of that, it's kind of what you would expect. James Lowe and Tommy O'Brien, Hugh Keane across the back three, Sam Prendergast and James Gibbs Park in at 9 and 10. The center has kind of been like a weird place for Leinster for a few weeks, months now at this stage, where, for a long time we had Robbie Henshaw and Gary Ringrose, and those were two ostensibly world-class players, Lions, both of them, even though Ringrose had to dip out with a head injury before he actually got his Lions test cap. But they were unquestionably world-class players, and I don't know that they are anymore. And Henshaw in particular, he's got a lot of miles on the clock, and it feels like it's showing. But even Ringrose, as good as he's been in parts of this season, he hasn't been the same player he was honestly before he dipped out in the Lions. So he doesn't start. Robbie Henshaw isn't involved through injury, I think. And it's Jamie Osborne and Ricky Ioane. And Osborne had been trending towards an excellent kind of run at that 12 jersey and then just had a bit of a dip over the last few weeks and he hasn't been as good. So this will be a big one for him to show that he is worth that salt. He's been called up for the Ireland squad. There'll be a push there too. And Ricky Ioane, there was a lot of questions when he came to the Ireland squad, but the last few weeks I have found myself oddly warming to him. There's glimpses in there where you can see there's an All Black in there. I can see where this guy's come from. So is 13 his best position? No, he should be playing on the wing. But given that we have Tommy O'Brien and James Lowe out there, 13 is probably where it makes sense. Hopefully Gary Ringrose brings a bit of impact from the bench. And I think in deciding this, I haven't talked about the South African team at all. I'll discuss them. I might plug the other pod. I'll discuss them on a bit of an animal tomorrow.
Right.
But I think the bench could be the telling of the game because while the Bulls have definitely stacked their bench too, um, I think there's a lot of strength on that Leinster bench. I think there's, Dan Sheehan, Tom Clarkson, not to gloss over Alex Usmanov, but like those lads are bringing a lot of heft. Dermot Mangan has had an excellent end to the season. He's going to come off that bench very fired up. And then to have Jack Conan, Luke McGrath, Harry Byrne, and Gary Ringrose running out, like that is a really strong bench. So the second half is going to be as, I'd say, intense as the first. We had the same matchup last year. This is not going to be a repeat of that. That was a walkover where the Bulls didn't show up. I don't think that's going to happen again this year. I think it's going to be a much tighter game. But I am relatively confident that if Leinster show up at least 80-85% at home with what we hope is a reasonably decent crowd, the URC have put on more tickets for €25, so get out there and get them. Leinster should have enough to get this done, but the Bulls have more than enough to make a serious game of it. And I think the semi-final should be a lesson in there is apparently no margin that's big enough to keep you safe from a Bulls comeback. And I think we should definitely look to the fact that Hunter Pollard left a lot of points on the pitch last week. He won't do that 2 weeks in a row. So Leinster are going to need to be honest. We have enough to win, but it's not going to be a gimme.
Imagine buying your kid a toy only to find the batteries aren't included, or buying furniture but missing the tools to build it. Frustrating, right? Now imagine the exact same feeling, but you're paying way more. That is what buying business software usually feels like: fragmented, disconnected, and incredibly expensive. Odoo completely changes that. Odoo is a complete, fully integrated business suite where all your apps actually talk to each other. We're talking automated lead routing for your sales team, seamless AI integration, and intuitive point-and-click website builder. It's everything your business needs to scale, saving you time, headaches, and money. Stop piecing your software together. Go to odoo.com. That's odoo.com to learn more.
Yeah, I don't know where to start there. Firstly, if you do want to get those €25 tickets, do. I just don't recommend the bottom left of Canal End. Secondly, home game for Leinster. Just home game for you, David. For Leinster fans like yourself. For some of them, I don't know if they'll call it a home game, considering they wouldn't call the Aviva a home game. And you can see the Aviva from the RDS. But anyways. And also, thanks for reading off the notes, because my next 3 points were going to be front row, benches, and repeat final. And you managed to hit on all three. So impressive, considering you guys don't really read the notes. On that bombshell, because we've only got about 15 minutes before we need to lock in and watch England hopefully slip up. It's not coming home. Ben, front row is going to be massive. David touched on it there. It's Kelleher, very important one there. Kelleher at hooker with Jerry Kerr beside him, Tyke Furlong there as well with Usinoff, Clarkson, and Sheehan on the bench. It feels very important because you're going up against Wilco Lowe and Mornay Smith and guys like that, Sean Hendrik Vessels, Gerhard Steenekamp, Johan Grobler, like props, or in the Bulls case, hookers that looks like props.
I was going to say Steenekamp does not look like a prop. You'd see Steenekamp, you're like, oh, you're just a very small second row. Oh wait, you're propping like a machine. What's going on?
He is absolutely insane. But kind of on that, like this does feel like a pinch point of this game, because if Leinster have this game won when Wilco Lowe comes on against Alex Usnov, it's not going to mean anything, and it's always possible because the Bulls have that, like, that Scottishness, also known as fraudulence, in them. But it could very well be what decides this game, because even when Andrew Porter went off the last day, that swung it a little bit more in the Stormers' direction.
Part of me thinks we might see Usnov in quicker than usual, that they might do what we've seen him do with Porter previously, where they start one prop, Limerick Usnov in, because his scrummaging is genuinely excellent. Kerr's going to have a hard time with it for the first half an hour. Let's be realistic about it. He's a very, very talented scrummager. He's better than Porter in my head, purely in scrummaging. I don't know is he going to really have all that much for Clopper, but he'll try. He'll do his best. And there's a black card with a yellow and a red card who might just swing the scrum a little bit, because no one knows what PRD is going to see realistically. The scrum is going to be an absolute battle. Kelleher, having him in is incredible for Leinster, and it solidifies their front row probably more than it should. But Steenkamp, Grobler and Clopper, they probably the best scrummaging front row in the URC, if not one of the best in Europe, after Toulouse, Bath, maybe La Rochelle in terms of pure scrummaging. Leinster usually do a kick-heavy game. I don't know if they can do it here because they can't afford knock-ons. It's really interesting to see how Cullen and McBride and Tyler try and work around that, because the Bulls will target every single scrum and they'll drive it back 5 meters each time. It's gonna be it's most likely part of this game. Sorry, Dave, but it is.
It is. No, it is. Like, it genuinely is. Like, I don't think there is a weakness in that Bulls pack. I do think there's weaknesses out in their backline, but then at the same time, I think the Bulls have a better bench. But I just don't think they'll have a game to play for by the time they unleash
Bulls
those
have
guys.
1-8, Leinster have 9-15, and Leinster's 9-15
are a lot. I wouldn't say they're a lot better, because I think there's a couple of
Gibson
coin toss.
Gibson Park playing is huge.
Oh yeah, massively.
And we said
Willie LaRue playing is huge if he backs up what he did last year. God love him. Tommy O'Brien was asked at the press conference this week about playing in Croke Park and the bigger pitch, and all that was coming through my head when I was reading the quotes was, yeah, Willie LaRue really struggled with that last year.
Even Dan Carter struggled in Croke Park. I mean, he played Ireland there once.
True.
He missed touch like 4 times.
That's true. It is, because you're an awful lot further in. So if you kick towards you can't kick towards the stand. You have to kick it down the line, and then you don't really have a
And because of
natural
the
aim point.
hill, it's really difficult to judge where the posts are with the hill behind it as well. Canallen's a bit easier.
Yeah,
It's
Canal End
incredibly
is
difficult.
typically the easier post to shoot into as well in since the 2 point rule in Gaelic football. But we're going to bore all our South African guests if I keep talking about Gaelic football. But also, lads, if you haven't seen the fucking end of Armagh Loud the last day, incredible scenes. Anyways,
You bring
back
the
to the
box back
rugby.
by just saying props, 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 props.
You
Lots
could
of
sing that.
props.
Ben's new Christmas charity single is going to be props, 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 props. Adam, going to bring you in here. Benches, right? So on one side you got Dan Sheehan, Thomas Clarkson, Jack Conan, Gary Ringrose, Lions. The other side you've got Marco van Staden, Jean Hendrik Vessels, Vitko Low, Cobus Visa, Nizam Carr. Beasts, like literal beasts of humans. It's that does kind of feel important because if Leinster are going to win, it's very hard to see them winning without someone on that bench being important as well.
Yeah, I think that bench, Leinster have a like I don't know how to describe it, but their depth is ridiculous, and I think Dan Sheehan is that difference maker on that bench. If there was to point out anyone on that bench, on both benches, that would make the biggest difference, I would say it would be yeah, it's Dan Sheehan. I know Welko Lowe is a very good player who could come off the bench and really torment that scrum, but I do feel like it's it's Dan Sheehan. I'd rather have Dan Sheehan coming off my bench than Ronan Gallagher, especially when it's a final. When they
And
need that
also
last bit.
Kelleher is probably a better scrummager. So to get that picture
Yeah,
painted from the off, because it is PRD. It's not David
yeah.
Cordial in disguise, as we were asked in Limerick. It is PRD. So you never know what way it's gonna go. It's his fourth final, guys. It's
Shout out
his
to
fourth.
shout
Go
out to
on.
Mr. Nankerville if he's listening.
Yeah, or Mr. Player's father that we will leave out redacted. Also, that's looked thankful in the Barbarians game at the weekend. But just to go back to that, like I think you hit on something there. Yes, having a great prop on the bench is important, but also at the same time, you need an awful lot of scrums for it to take a toll.
Yeah.
You may only need Dan Sheehan to touch the ball once in open country,
Well,
you know?
I like the last time I went to see Ulster Leinster play, it was in the Aviva last year, and I saw him touch the ball 3 times. And that was absolutely disgusting how he scored a hat trick. So, we know how important he is and we know how vital he is as well to that Leinster team. Like, it's the same with Ireland. He is like a Rolls Royce player. He's one of those players that can also like provide a lot of, he's like the most modern, almost sort of like super rugby example of he can be a what you call it, hybrid player. Like you can almost put him in any position in the park and he'd do well. But I think it's Sheehan on the bench is that difference maker. I know that we say that there's big brutes on that Bulls bench, but I'd say that it would be, you'd have Kelleher go down in the first 5 minutes and you'd be like, oh, Sheehan's on the bench. It's one of those where I think that he's that spark that could really either spark a comeback or solidify the game for Leinster. He's that difference maker on that bench.
Yeah, I would agree. I'm leaning that way. I personally think Leinster are going to win this, and I'd be surprised if this is a one score, not a one score game. I'm surprised if this goes down to the wire, to be honest. I think Leinster will have this sewn up with about 20 minutes to go. That's just my own opinion. But it is also, the whole repeat final situation. And the first time we've had that ever in the URC, Celtic League, Pro 14, Magners League, whatever era you want to talk about. It's the first time we've ever had a repeat final in the same ground as well, which hasn't happened since 2018, I think it was, or 2019, or 2018 when Leinster beat Scarlets was the last time it was two finals in the same ground, back to back. So I think it is set up. There's a lot of narrative. There's an awful lot of there's a bit of a rivalry there because it's the fourth year in a row or something, or no, fourth year in five that Leinster and Bulls have met in the playoff stages as well. They've made every playoff stage. So I really am looking forward to it. Don't get me wrong. Although I might be to kind of have Adam slag me here. I actually might be on golf duty or soccer duty. I may not get to see it all live, but I do think it's finally poised to be a very good final. I just think Leinster will have too much in them. I think they will have learned so much from last year, and how they picked themselves up last year to go on and win a URC. And I think that will motivate them, whereas the Bulls have to tell themselves, God, we can't shit the bed. That's a hell of a different mindset. You know, you don't want to be going into the final saying we can't not turn up. Whereas Leinster, it's we do the exact same thing, we win. That's a lot easier. We do the same thing, we win. That's a much healthier mindset. I'll get predictions off the two lads in a word in a minute before we hop off, because again, I am conscious that we have World Cup on tonight and a hate watch, generational hate watch, some might say. David, I'll let you start wrapping things up. Home final, Leinster Bulls, chance to be the first back-to-back winners in the URC era. Call it, tell us why, tell us how many, whatever way you want to go with this.
I think Leinster will do it. I think they have enough in starting team to edge it and enough in that bench to finish it. And I think it'll come out to be a win, and I think it'll be by an 8-point margin.
Okay. Do you want to give me a score if you're going to go? Why not?
I'm going to say it'll be relatively high score, and I'm going to say it'll be, let's say, what's 23-15.
Okay, that's not too bad. To be fair, the weather has been pretty decent, so I'd imagine if it continues like that, it's going to be a perfect night for rugby. The only thing I will say is, Croke Park, cold spot. I don't know how. It's a
It's
lot
cold.
colder than the Aviva. Like it fucking is. I've been
Yeah.
up in I think I said this before to you. I've been up in like concerts up in the top tier before in the month of March, and by Christ, you can feel every bit of the Irish Sea, even though I'm not 100% sure if that's the direction it's facing in. Um, I'll let Ben figure that out. He's a Limerick man, so he'd know all about it. You know what I mean? The slag is going to get worse in the next few weeks. Adam, from one hate watch tonight to another on Wednesday. I mean, not on Wednesday. Today's Wednesday. Who do you think will be the 2026 URC champion?
Leinster. I think there's
Diffusive.
there yeah, I do. I think it's one of those where I don't not see it. Like if Leinster didn't win it, the whole narrative would be, is Cullen and Nybar worth it? And when that would be really, really interesting as a podcast subject, and that it would be, let's face it, we'd all be here next week talking about the same thing. If that happened, I don't see Bulls winning this. I see Leinster. We say it's a score point game. I reckon it's like a 2-score game, a 2 or 3 score game. I think Leinster are going to fairly run away with it. I think the Champions Cup was still hurting, so they need to prove themselves and win a trophy that way. So, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think Leinster will win. I think Leinster will win by a bit, 10 points, maybe 12. I think James Lowe is going to score. I think it's going to be the loudest that Leinster fans have been in a while, because James Lowe is going to score in his finale final. And I think that there's going to be a lot of talk afterwards of maybe losing to Bordeaux wasn't all that bad. No, that's the only thing I fear. I don't want that to happen either, because that was bad. But I think it will be a win, and I think ultimately, and I've kind of hinted at this before, 5 years of URC, 3 Irish titles, that's exactly where we should be. And I can disagree about different things and the state of provinces, the state of Leinster, Munster, Ulster, Connacht, national team, whatever. 3 from 5 is exactly where we should be. And I do think we'll get that done. Just reminder who got there first. Ben, on that note, who do you think is going to win this year's URC
The
final?
Hogan stand
You're right.
faces the IRC, first of
You
all.
are, as always, the Yahoo to our Google.
I
Ah, who came
d-
first? I actually don't know. I'm not old enough to know who came first, to be honest.
Bulls.
Yahoo.
Bulls by a score. Bulls by less than 7. I think their pack is good enough. And Gibson Park may swing it, but PRD and a big pack and a dominant scrum. If LaRue and Pollard play well, the Bulls can steal it. Leinster will lead for 55 minutes and the Bulls will win.
Well, you say that now. If you're right, you might catch up with Adam way behind in our slipstream of the predictor league. But we shall see. David, I assume you're going to be heading to this one. Back
Yeah,
to Crow Park.
yeah. I got my tickets day one. Yeah, so
Oh,
I'll be
one of
done.
20,000 to get them a day one.
I know. Yeah. I
It's
know.
only
You can't. You
it's only
can't.
10,000 of the 10 days
You're
since, but
not
that's
going into
fine.
the supporters zone in the corner, no?
You
Shh.
can't. No.
We
You can't not go.
we
It'll
probably
be
have better numbers than those guys. Anyways, go on. You were
yeah.
saying?
As you alluded to, my home turf. I'm a North Sider, so it's just a walk down the road, and we'll be there. But yeah, no, look, any opportunity to watch rugby in Croke Park is always worth going to, and it's a final. How can you not show up? So yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it. Be a nice way to
Uh,
spend a Friday night. If the weather stays like this, it'll be class.
yeah. How can you not show up in a final? Ask the Bulls last year. No, no,
That's not a stone I can throw.
that's a fair point. I mean, it's not really a stone any of us can throw, to be honest. But
Just
no,
one of
look,
us is reaching finals.
I will say I do agree. Crow Park for a rugby game is pretty cool. It's pretty unique. I've done it. This is I missed maybe 3 out of 6 or whatever. I've been at maybe 3 out of 6, 8, but it is unbelievably special every time. And I said that to a friend of mine who was thinking of going. Just go, just buy the tickets, just go and enjoy it, and it should be a great occasion. And I do think Leinster will win, and I think that'll be good for Irish rugby. We should say this game isn't on TG Car. It's only on Premier Sports, so just for those at home to keep an eye out on that one. We'll be back next week. I haven't checked my own roster, so I actually don't know. I think Tuesday. I think. Again, production meeting going out live. I think we'll be back on Tuesday. If we're back with a Leinster win, we're back with a Leinster win. If we're not, we're on to Ireland talk a little bit earlier than expected, because that's just how these things work. My thanks to Adam, to Ben, and to David for joining me this evening. And there's only one thing that I have to say now, lads, and it's not the chant that you're all thinking. But go on and enjoy the generational hate watch. But for now,
Are we
until
human or are we Croatia?
Luka Modric, I didn't know you were still alive. Peace out, King. Right, go on. Good luck and good night.